Good morning. I thought I would just put out this fifth lesson on growing your marriage today. Just kind of wrap up some loose ends. So let's talk about something called start up. And we want to have a softened start up versus a harsh start up. Now, a lot of our conflicts in relationships are harsh startups because they're kind of off the cuff. They're just sort of spontaneous. Somebody does something, somebody says something, and then all of a sudden that triggers somebody and they put it out there. This is what I want you to do, or this is what I don't want you to do. Stop doing that. So really a soft startup, we have to either prepare ahead of time and plan it out, or after a while, maybe we get so used to doing it that we can do it quickly without thinking, okay? So a softened startup would be something like, you've probably all heard of I statements. Okay. So the I statement has to do with I feel. Now, be careful here. A lot of people will take the word I feel and I think as the same thing, okay? But they're not, okay? I think this, or this, versus I feel sad, angry, frustrated. I think this is going well. I think this is a nice day. I feel upset, hurt, lonely. It's an emotion. I feel emotions. I think thoughts, okay? So be careful with this. I feel that you're so irresponsible. No, I think you are so irresponsible. But even there, that's criticism. Remember, that's globalizing, that's labeling, that's anathema. That's one of the four horses, okay? We talk about behavior. So the second part of a softened startup is ask for the behavior that you want. Ask for the behavior that you want. So I feel, express your emotion, and then ask. Don't demand, don't tell. Ask for the behavior that you want. I'm going to go a little further with this. Ask for the behavior you want, not the behavior that you don't want. There's something about the word no, not, that creates a negative energy, and you get a lot of defensiveness and pushback. People get triggered by those words. It's not about what you don't want. Be clear about what you do want. And it's really confusing to some people if you say, excuse me, I don't want you to talk to me that way. What does that mean? Okay. How do you want me to talk? What's wrong with the way I'm talking? You follow me? So don't even go there. Just go, I would appreciate if you would talk to me with your inside voice. So I would appreciate if you would talk to me more quietly. I would appreciate if you would talk to me with a tone of respect, okay? Rather than, I don't want you to talk to me in an angry tone. Don't, see there's the word don't. Ask for what you want, not what you don't want. Two parts. Express how you feel with an I statement. I am feeling frustrated. I would appreciate, that's how you ask, I would appreciate, I would like, not demand, I would appreciate if you would give me a hand in the kitchen tonight cleaning up. Okay? Two parts. I, how you're feeling emotionally, would appreciate, ask for what you want. Very specific behavioral asking. Okay? So if you want to bring up a touchy topic, A harsh startup would kill the whole thing. I mean, really, within seconds, your conversation is going to go into the negative really fast. So I'm going to give some examples of how to do it and how not to do it. Okay. So let's take this one. Your mother-in-law is coming home to visit this evening. You are upset with the way she criticizes how you discipline your children. And you want your partner to back you up when you tell your mother-in-law that it hurts your feelings when she does this. Okay? So a harsh startup would be, your mother is a wart on the back of humanity. You know, harsh startup. Okay? So a softened startup would be, I am worried. See, emotion. I'm worried that your partner would, I'm worried that your mom's going to be critical of me tonight. And I would appreciate if you would back me up if I have to talk to her. Okay? Let's take another one. You wish that your partner would cook dinner tomorrow night or take you out to dinner. Harsh startup. You never take me anywhere, and I'm sick of doing all this cooking. Not going to work. Soften startup. I'm really very tired of cooking. It would be really nice of you if you could take us out for dinner tomorrow night. Okay? A couple of ideas. So, you know, you can practice this with each other. I am going to send you some examples and have you maybe try your own way. I have to say some of these examples aren't really the best. Maybe you could find a way to improve on them. But I want to talk about, push the envelope a little bit. In a way, it's going to be a review of what we might have done, I think, a couple of weeks ago on assertiveness. We talked about assertiveness versus aggression, passiveness, or passive aggressiveness. So before you ask for what you want, make sure, number one, make sure that this is a valid request. Okay? Make sure it's a valid request. What I'm saying is this. We can't demand perfection, for one thing. There's a good example. We can't demand perfection. We have to lower the bar, okay? So if you're always asking for something that is unrealistic, the bar is too high, you're gonna really wear out your relationship fast. We've got to put the bar lower. Make sure it's doable, realistic, and a valid request. Second thing would be to make sure this is important enough to ask. In other words, have you heard of that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff? Sometimes we just have to ignore some things. You just have to ignore it. Now be careful here. This is not about stuffing your angry feelings, because to stuff your emotions and stuff your angry feelings down is not a good way to live. It will come blowing out of you one day, and it's not going to be a softened startup. So make sure you can truly say to yourself, I'm letting go of all the anger I have on this. I'm deciding that this is going to be fine. And then you don't build up any strong anger in your body, okay? So in other words, another way to put this is, you got to pick your battles. On what hill are you willing to die on? You follow me here? What bridges are you willing to burn? All right, you got to be very careful, especially now with children and teenagers, okay? You can use all of these communication skills with your teenagers and your children, okay? But once again, Choose your battles. If you can let go of someone's annoying behavior without having to address it, then let it go. But don't let it go without letting it go, truly letting it go in here. You're still holding some anger there and you're still ruminating about it, you haven't truly let it go. So you need to either talk about it or truly let it go. Okay, truly let it go. So in light of this, I'm going to give you a couple of mantras that can be very helpful in letting go of a lot of things. Okay, the first one is, I have no expectations. Now, I call it a mantra. A mantra is something that you repeat over and over and over and over, almost monotonously, but keep repeating it in your mind. I have no expectations. I have no expectations. I have no expectations. Why would we do this? Because expectations set you up for disappointment. You have no control over other people, including your partner. Okay? Now, you can have expectations for the people in your life that you are supposed to control or have control over, employees, your children, whatever, but your partners, no, that kills love, remember? Love requires freedom. So I have no expectations. I have no expectations. Where do expectations come from anyway? Usually people will say, well, it's just common sense. Let me let you in on something. Common sense doesn't exist. It's a myth. There's no such thing as common sense. Everything is learned and everything has to be taught and learned. There's no such thing as common sense. Otherwise, we'd all be born with it and we'd all have it, but we don't, okay? And when we think it's just common sense, that's when we have an expectation. And when we have an expectation that is not met, we suffer disappointment. And we become now a victim. And a victim is, by definition, powerless. And that's when we become unglued. That's when we become triggered and we get aggressive, passive aggressive, or passive, fight, flight, freeze, or all three. So I have no expectations. I'm taking my 4 grandsons to Disneyland. On the way there, I'm reciting, I have no expectations. I have no expectations. Because if I have expectations and one of those little guys is going to act out or not want to ride this ride or don't want to stand in line for this long, I am going to have a miserable day. I'm going to be let down. I'm going to be disappointed. I want to enjoy the day. So let's enjoy the journey, not the destination. I have no expectations. I had a good friend point out to me one time when I was debriefing at the end of a workshop, this whole topic, and it was late at night, and she said, but Don, I have expectations. When I drive my car, I expect people to stop at red lights. I expect people to stop at stop signs. It was quite late, and I went, well, makes sense, but right now I just don't have an answer. Had a good night's sleep. The next day, of course, it hit me. When I took my class 2 bus driver's license, they really drilled it into me. It's called defensive driving. You do not expect that person who has their signal light on to turn, or that person who doesn't have that signal light on to not turn. You look for some kind of indication. If they're braking, the front of the car will dip. If they're going to turn, you just drive defensively. If that pedestrian on the side of the road looks like they're going to cross in front of you, don't just expect that they see you. Look at that person get some eye contact. If not, drive defensively. Okay? I have no expectations. Second thing, I let go of the outcome. Mantra number 2. I let go of the outcome. I let go of the outcome. Why? I let go of whatever I do not have control over. Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I have no expectations. And I let go of the outcome. I just have to accept it. I let go of the outcome and have the courage to do the things I can change. So I can change myself, but I can't change another person. Okay? I can change the paint on my own wall, but I can't change the paint on your wall. We have to know, we have to have that wisdom to know what we have control over and what we don't have control over. And we do not have control over another person unless that's our responsibility. Teacher, student, parent, child, policeman, citizen, boss, employee. But in a marriage relationship, power is equal. So let's go back to a softened startup. This is how it goes. Try to use some endearing words. Honey, right now I'm feeling frustrated. I would really appreciate it if you would call home if you're going to be late for dinner. Okay? Now, I let go of the outcome. I let go of the outcome. Okay? I can't force this person to call home. I have to let go of the outcome. But I can put a boundary, not on this person, because that's control. I can put a boundary on myself. See, boundaries, when you set boundaries, they're to protect you. So I can put a boundary on myself in which if I need to eat because I have other things to do, I'm going to go ahead and eat that food while it's hot, put it in the fridge, do the other things I need to do, and when he or she comes home, help yourself, it's in the fridge. I do not have to keeping it warm, keeping it warm, keeping it warm, dying of starvation, dying of starvation. By the time the person comes home, I'm irritated, I'm angry. Doesn't work. Let go of the outcome. So if the person doesn't come home, that's their choice. Don't have any control over it. But if you need to protect yourself, put a boundary on yourself. Okay? So you could ask for what you want. Here's another one. Someone starts calling you names. They're belittling you. Excuse me, but I would really appreciate it if you would talk to me more respectfully. Do I let go of the outcome? Yeah. But what if they do it again? Excuse me, but if you're gonna continue to speak to me disrespectfully, I am going to leave this conversation. I have just communicated a boundary on myself. I am going to leave this conversation. They continue to call you names and belittle you. Excuse me, but I have to leave. And leave. Honor your boundary. You're not forcing that person to do anything. You're just protecting yourself from this abuse, and you're leaving, or you're hanging up, or you're pressing this end call button. Okay. Now, sometimes we don't want to just have a simple two-part startup like, honey, I'd appreciate it if, honey, I'm frustrated. I'd appreciate it if you would call home if you're going to be late. Sometimes we want to make our request in a more in a more expanded way. Expanded way. I'll give you a handout on this one too. It's called a DESO script. D-E-S-O. DESO script. D. Describe the situation. Describe the situation. Honey, I'm trying to put on a really great, hot, fresh meal so we can sit down together and eat. But sometimes I have to keep reheating it. And, okay, that's describing the situation. E, express how you feel. So sometimes I just feel frustrated about the situation. S, state what you want. And I would really appreciate it if you would call home if you're going to be late for dinner. O, outcome. Describe the outcome. And that way, we can both enjoy a hot meal together. DESO script, just a little bit fleshed out compared to the two-part, how I'm feeling, what I would appreciate, what I would want. Describe the situation, then express how you feel, then state what you want, not what you don't want, what you want, and then describe the outcome. What's the outcome of all this? Make it positive, of course. Make it positive for both of you. Make it a win-win, okay? So, and remember, those situations that are unsolvable. Once a couple has decided this is an unsolvable problem, issue in our relationship, once you come to that decision, after that point in time, stop asking for it. Stop trying to get what you want. Stop trying to solve it anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Joke about it a little bit, but not at your partner. Joke about yourself. Oh, there I go again. It's my OCD again. I always have to have everything so perfect. That's why I'm going to clean this up, but don't make it like you're making the other person feel guilty. No, just put it here. Take ownership for it. It's my issue. It's my OCD. End of story. I need it clean. I'm going to clean it up. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, don't be shy to send an email to me. I've been doing well, not all my counseling, but a lot of my counseling online these days, except for EMDR, which is a process that I have to use a light bar for, and they have to be present with me. But other than that, I'm kind of getting used to talking to a screen. So have a good weekend and have a good day. Thank you.